So guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking everything Rogue Strongman Classic. So, looking into that, we will start with the 10 selected athletes. We have Mitch Hooper, Tom Stoutman, Thor Bjornsson, Rain O'Neill, Evan Singleton, Lucas Hatton, Trey Mitchell, Thomas Evans, Paddy Haynes, and Austin Andrade. Very solid lineup there. Really excited to see what the guys can do there. I believe we have like 4 or 5 guys there who won World's Strongest Man, which is just nuts in itself. Also, just another thing to discuss as well is the supposed events for what could be happening in the Rogue Invitational. So, just to go through some of the things I've seen the guys training, one thing I know with absolute certainty that will be there is a Viking press in some capacity. I've seen Mitchell Hooper train this, I've seen Paddy Haynes train it, I've seen Trey Mitchell train it. I might have seen Evan Singleton train it, but yeah, so Viking press is 100% happening. Lucas Hatton has mentioned a yoke run, maybe going down as well. Kettlebell press, a really heavy kettlebell press. I've seen Tom Stoutman do this, Evan Singleton, a couple of other guys. There appears to be an 18-inch deadlift of some kind. I think it's an axle deadlift. The fact that it's 18-inch makes me assume that it's probably for max weight, so that'll be interesting to see as well. It'll be a bit like kind of, I suppose, bringing us back to World's Strongest Man, really. Outside of that, then, we have more than likely a sandbag toss of some kind, possibly for weight. I seen Trey Mitchell doing this, and it was 72 pounds over 15.5 feet. So 72 pounds is pretty heavy for a sandbag, so I'm assuming they're doing it for weight, or otherwise just a really heavy set. More than likely, there will be medley events, so multiple events put together. There was one year where they had the yoke run into like a log press, something like that, maybe into a Viking press or the kettlebell press. You wouldn't know, something like that could be happening, so it'd be very interesting to see what events they can bring together. But one thing I find really exciting about the show as well is people have been saying, the people who know what the events are have all said that like this is not a light show, the way people like to make it out to be, like that it's just, oh yeah, it's the CrossFit competition, so like nobody's going to be lifting anything heavy really, which is kind of bullshit anyway, because like you go back 2 years, we had the bull pull, which unfortunately injured Trey Mitchell at the time. Like they have the Tower of Power, which is in and around 400 kilo deadlift, I think, for like reps, which is just insane. You know, there's lots of really heavy things they have in the Rogue that people don't seem to appreciate. It's just they do have a lot of medley type events, which aren't necessarily light either. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of events they have all together. But I'm really looking forward to it. So, to discuss the recent controversies around the lineup, right? So, if you look at the Rogue webpage and you go onto the Strongman section, and then you will see that there's an area where you can look at the ranking system, right? And it shows all of the guys ranked, I believe it's 1 through to like 37. So, you have Mitch Hooper in first. I'll be honest, I can't remember who's in second now. It'll all be on the screen, lads. You can see it anyway. But basically, Mateusz Kieliszkowski is number 10, and he has not been invited, right? The person who has been invited as the 10th athlete is Paddy Haynes. If you scroll down the list, he's actually number 24. Now, the reason that they more than likely invited him over Mateusz is because of his recent performances. The fact he's come 5th at Worlds, the fact that he was 2nd at Euros, the fact that he's England's strongest man, and the fact that he's improving non-stop. But the only difficulty we have is that, like, Mateusz has performed really well, and arguably, through the ranking system, I wouldn't even say arguably, he definitely through the ranking system has gained solid points and earned his spot. So just to go through the ranking system, some of the things they rank are like Rogue participation, Rogue wins, Arnold wins, Arnold participation, World's Strongest Man wins, World's Strongest Man participation, and the same with Strongest Man Earth. So just to go through with Mateusz, some of the reasons you could make the argument that he should be there. Matej has come third and fourth at the Rogue before, which is, it's reason enough to have him there. There's a lot of guys on this list who've never placed that high in the Rogue. Then if you look at the Ireland Classic, he has competed there a total of 8 times. 3 of those times he's come 4th place. 2 of those times he's come 3rd, and 3 times he's been runner-up to that competition. So every time he's competed at the Arnold's, he's never been outside the top 4, which is a feat in itself. And as I said, 3 times silver medalist as well. So, Matej is a really, really good athlete. Just to get into the actual issues about the whole Paddy Haynes thing. Basically, the Lalas Brothers put up a video talking about the Rogue Invitational and how it was kind of a controversial lineup. And they were mainly speaking about the ranking system itself. However, at the introduction of the video, they kind of clumsily said, well, everybody's kind of thinking it, Paddy doesn't really deserve the invite. And then they went on to kind of explain about the ranking system and why it was difficult, because, we've gone on about the ranking system and, we know what that's for and why it's there. But they also put, a disclaimer on the website saying, yeah, but we can also, invite whatever athlete we want. What I think they should do with that, right, because it creates confusion, especially for someone like Matej, who is looking at that list saying, well, I'm number 10, Paddy's number 24, why is he getting the invite over me? This is kind of bullshit, especially because it's a show that he really wants to do. What they should do in that scenario, if I were in Rogue's situation, if I was working for them, whatever, I would say, if you have a ranking system that you roughly, let me emphasize, roughly rank athletes by, keep that to yourself. Keep that within the organization. These are the guys, this is how we're ranking them. But if there are some people who stand out for other reasons, such as Paddy Haynes, then invite them instead and just call it an invitational, because at the end of the day, it's the Rogue Invitational, which is clearly what they're going by, because they have invited Paddy over, you could make the argument of 13 other guys to be in that top 10 position. So that's my opinion on what they should do, but I keep going off track about the whole Paddy Haynes situation. So basically, Paddy Haynes saw the Lalas Brothers video where they had said, oh, he doesn't deserve an invite. And Paddy Haynes took that and kind of ran with it, took it a bit personally, and made a video back saying that, by the way, he doesn't deserve the invite, and that these guys are just dickheads and they're not really seeing the full picture as to why he got the invite in the first place. Personally, I think with Paddy, knowing all the YouTube channels that I watch around Strongman and things that they have said about Paddy since he kind of came onto the big scene, is a lot of them say oh, he's statically not that strong, there's so many other guys, he's just the cardio guy, he's just the speedy endurance guy. And I think he feels he doesn't get enough credit for the improvements that he has made, which he has made a lot of. He's just recently deadlifted 1,000 pounds, which is a phenomenal lift in itself. But not only that, but in terms of the athlete that Paddy is, that gives him such a huge edge in competition. And his pressing is finally improving as well. His pressing is at a point now where I wouldn't even call it mid-table anymore. It's more I'm not going to say it's not winning events, but it's if there's 10 guys, he's probably coming fourth, do you know, that kind of way. Whereas before it was he was coming last or second last. So his pressing has come on phenomenally. His static strength in general has gone way up. So I think it was just a build-up of just hearing little bits and pieces of people saying, oh yeah, he's not strong enough, he's not this, he's not that. And that probably kind of got to him, and I think that's why he heard what they said and just kind of maybe didn't listen to the rest of the video and was this is bullshit, fuck these guys. But yeah, so that was essentially what they said in their video. And they also went on about Mitchell Hooper. And the situation with Mitchell Hooper that they were talking about was he's coming back to do the Rogue. He's recently had stem cell therapy in his bicep, his knee, and 4 of the discs in his back, as he had 4 herniated discs. Now, Vitalis Lalas, one of the Lalas brothers looking at this, was kind of panicking over that when he saw that, when he heard that Mitch was in the situation, because he had one bulging disc and that essentially ended his career. Now, I would say that I think with this sort of stuff, it varies from person to person. I would say I can partially speak on experience. I say partially because I've never competed at the level that they have, taken the things that they have. So it's being the size that they are. So I can't fully appreciate it, but I have had 2 bulging discs before. Well, currently have. I think once you have them, you can have them for life. So 2 bulging discs, and I had I had injured my QL muscle as well. So I basically pulled it, strained it essentially. And I remember at that time, I wasn't in a serious amount of pain, but it was massively affecting my lifts and stuff for a while. So I had to go through basically 3 months of just just complete decompression of the spine, while also doing all this kind of Pilates and yoga-based workouts for like the bones of an hour a day. I had to do it an hour a day, every day, touching no weights. Like I couldn't do anything to like compress my spine, like anything extreme basically, like carry shopping bags and shit like that. But yeah, so like I know what can happen, like if it's if it's bad, like you could be off for months, like to get it fully healed. Now, I never had stem cell therapy or anything like that, but that was my situation. It had me out for 12 weeks in terms of proper recovery, and then by the time I actually got back to lifting heavy again was, probably definitely 2 months after that. Like I was lifting, I was going in deadlifting 60 kilos, 100 kilos, whatever, but before I got back to like 200 plus kilos on the bar, like that was definitely 2 months after. Like it took time to build all those muscles back up again. So with atheltes as well, like he explained that like even doing yoga and stuff, it was painful. Like it was like his entire left side was just not firing the way it should have been. But back to my original point, like I think it's highly individual, that sort of stuff. And like with Mitch, he is training away now, he is putting weight on it and stuff like that, and Lalas is keeping an eye on him too. And Lalas has said publicly on his Strongman Sunday that like the way Mitch Hooper looks now is he would be quite likely to win the Rogue, which is insane given the amount of injuries he's had and given how little time he's had to properly come back from it. It's a lot. I personally think, I kind of agree with Lalas on this, that he's probably rushing it a small bit. In terms of peak health, he probably would have been better off waiting to the Arnold's, I think myself, just because of the amount of injuries that they had. I mean, if you have, like, there's one he having 2 bulging discs, you have 4 herniated discs and a few damaged facet joints. Like, I myself would be telling him, take your time, let the stem cells like really settle in, really start to like, get the body stronger again, and then like start the heavy training more towards like October, November, December, and just slowly build into the weights for the Irons. And I think then he would be flying it for the Irons and be no fear of hurting himself. I personally think with Mitch at the minute, it's partially ego driven. And I think the reason I say that is because Thor made a comment recently after winning the Giants Live Open, or Strongman Classic, I forget the name, but they won the big fucking deadlift anyway. After winning that, he said that before he retires, he wants to beat Mitch a couple of times, and I think Mitch really wants to make a statement and not let that happen by going to the Rogue and beating him again. And the thing is with Mitch, like, if he's on 85%, he could still win a competition. That's how good he is. So I can kind of understand where he's coming from, but purely from a health and safety point of view, I think he should be waiting till, February, March when the Irons comes around. But that's not up to me, that's up to him. So Mitch is going to do what he wants to do. But after Paddy had made his video, basically explaining about the situation of him, by the way, not being deserving of an invite, the Lalas Brothers got back and explained that, look, we were purely talking about the ranking system here. Like, we didn't mean any dig towards you at all. we just said at the start of the video, oh, he doesn't deserve an invite based on the ranking system. And they also stated that Mateus really wanted to do the actual competition as well. It was just a bit surprising. Like, they were mainly surprised that Paddy had put out a video about it and had taken it so far so wrong. And like, I'm a huge Paddy fan myself, you know, but in this particular situation, I don't think Paddy's in the right. I think he's got the wrong end of the stick. He's picked up the situation wrong and taken something personally that was never meant to be personal. So that's my opinion on the Paddy situation. I wish him the best of luck with the Rogue. Looking at some of the events here, he's got some good events there. Like, I mean, his Viking press is actually really good now. Sandbag toss, if they have it, that should be really good for him. And I'm sure there's several other events that he'll be lethal at as well. Actually, the 18-inch axle deadlift, I'd be very excited to see what he can do with that now, considering he can deadlift 1,000 pounds. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he places. Like, it's a super stacked lineup. I'm not going to be making predictions yet, guys, as there's many things we don't know, such as the events, what order they're in, you know, what events are combined together, all that sort of stuff. We just have the lineup so far. But yeah, that is my take on the Rogue Invitational. I personally think, and Paddy Haynes made a very good point about this, that the Rogue Invitational should remain an invitational, and also the system that they use heavily favours athletes that have performed well from like 2 or 3 years ago, which is fine. But when you have guys like the likes of Paddy Haynes coming in, doing as well as they have this year, clearly performing better than, you know, we'll say the likes of Mateus. No offense to Mateus, he's a class athlete, as I've stated. But if we're going on recent performances, like, Paddy is the man right now, like, in terms of, like, he's the strongest man in England, there's no denying that. You know, so, like, in these situations, if you're going purely by the ranking system, it doesn't give that chance for new blood to come in to the Rogue Invitational and actually showcase the best of strongman at the minute. So, yeah, that's what I think they should do. I think they should leave it completely to an invitational system, and just pick the best guys right now. The best guys 3 years ago, like, I don't think it matters as much. Does Mateus deserve an invite in the future? Yeah, if he earns the spot, 100%. He's a great athlete, we all know he is. He just needs to, like, I think a lot of things with Mateus at the minute is basically kind of fear-based around injuries he's had in the past. He is improving on things. His deadlift is improving, which is huge. It was always his biggest weakness, so that's starting to improve. But yeah, he's going to be competing in the World Tour final soon, so we'll see how he gets on there. But yeah, guys, that's my opinion on the whole situation, and we will see you guys later. Oh yeah, also don't forget to subscribe, like, comment if you feel like it, and share the video around the place. We'll see you later, guys.